welcome again to another episode of the Recap Weekend with Mercy James H&M. I am the host of the Monday Morning Rant podcast. If you've not heard about my podcast, click the link and go check it out. The Recap Weekend is sort of a summary video for what was discussed on Monday. We've been talking about the trials of a preacher's kid. This should be the third week. We've treated myths towards preachers' children. We've treated double standards towards preachers' children. And for this week and last week, I spoke about the actual trials of a preacher's kid and how you as a church person make it worse. It's not all church people. Those of you that are doing the things to make their life difficult, it is you I'm talking to. So please listen and enjoy. So the first point I'll be talking about is the pressure to be perfect. Most preachers' children are under that pressure to just be angels. They can't do anything wrong because whatever they do is either, are you not a pastor's child? Why are you behaving like that? Is your daddy not a pastor? No. You know, all of that. The pressure is a lot towards preachers' children. They can't do anything wrong. There's constant spotlights on them, even when they are not in church. A preacher's child might not know all the church members, but all the church members know the preacher's child. So wherever they go, wherever they are, there will just be somebody that knows their dad and automatically knows them. So they're just looking and waiting for you to mess up and be like, that pastor's child, don't they do any? And that's all of them they do. So the pressure to be perfect is a lot. And also the fact that many preachers' children came into spotlight not by choice. They didn't want it. There are preachers' children who are introverts and they go through a whole lot because having to be in people's faces is not their inherent desire or their inherent self. So being extroverted is sort of a survival instinct, not necessarily who they are. So that spotlight, that pressure from people to be just, always well behaved. I'm not saying it's bad to be well behaved, but there are some things that are not necessarily misbehaviors. But when it comes from a preacher's child, many of you make it look as if don't be pastor like but just speaking with that. So please, let's tone it down a bit so that they can also be children. They can be kids. They have the space to be who they are. They can choose whether to be in the spotlight or not. That one, I don't think it's possible, Sha. Moving on. The next point is no rest Sundays. This one is very personal to me because Sundays are just a lot. Sunday is a weekend for most people, right? It's restful. You go to a 2-hour service. After that 2 hours, you come back home, you sleep, you rest. For pastors' children, Sunday is their most worked day. Like, they're in church 6 a.m. Some even earlier than that, to set sound, to clean, to do all of these things. Because sometimes when the person who is supposed to do it doesn't do it, it always falls back on the preacher's child, right? 6 a.m. they're in church to set the atmosphere, to clean the church, to do all of that. Many of us don't eat before service. The first time I found out people used to eat breakfast on Sunday, I was 26 years old. I was 26 years old. It was the first time in my life I saw a family actually eat Sunday breakfast. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, because it's not something I can relate to. We go to church, empty bellies. Then we're in church sometimes 4, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. sometimes, because daddy and mommy are doing counseling session. They have to counsel you. You are always bringing your life problem. My wife slapped me. My husband knocked my head. I dreamt I was eating paddy. All these things, you will not bring it on that same Sunday. The parents are doing counseling and the children are just there waiting and sitting down waiting. So we don't eat safe throughout the day. No food till night because of church work. So please, I want to cajole church people, right? For those of you that do this a lot, of holding back pastors after service with one counseling thing or the other, There are some of these things that I feel if you took God more seriously for yourself, you will not need your pastor so much. And you expanded yam in your dream. Lay your hand on yourself and rebuke whatever it is. Or drink water when you wake up and tell your body, you are the temple of God. Whatever has entered you, neutralize. Whatever poisonous thing has entered, neutralizes. Pray for yourself. Study the scripture for yourself. So you only go to your pastor with the difficult things, and they don't have to always, babysit you and do all of that. It doesn't only tell on the pastors, it tells on their children as well. So the next point is most pastors' children are overworked and undervalued. I've seen many churches do conferences and all of that, and the pastor in charge is giving vote of thanks. How many times do you hear him saying, I want to appreciate Tolu, my first son, Bisola, my second daughter? Pastors' children don't get so much appreciation for all the work they do. God is our reward. There's no thank you. I saw a video on TikTok, and there was this guy, he videoed himself and uploaded it of him playing the drums. At the same time, he was playing the drum, he was playing the keyboard, he was also the sound engineer, and there was a mic in front of him. So he was playing two instruments and singing, because it's an upcoming church and there are not so many workers that can do these things. So most preachers' children are overworked, in the sense that when there's no worker yet, maybe the ministry is just starting, the branch of that big ministry is just coming up, and their father is put over the church, they have to do all these things. I myself, I can remember seasons in my life of cleaning church, being the usher, being the choir, being the children coordinator, teaching Bible study, leading, doing all of these things. Sounds to cajole you as a church person. Some of you sit and wait for them to come and beg you to join the workforce, and you know how to sing, please join the choir, you're very fine, you're cute, join the ushering department. They will not beg you and cajole you, and when you do one thing or two things, you clean church, you want special vote of thanks, they should call your name and appreciate you. Your reward is in heaven. Your reward is with your heavenly Father. Please, whatever role you are playing in the church, take it seriously. If you won't be available, call. The same way you will do your job, please take your volunteering in the church that seriously, because when you slack, the heavy duty and the work falls back on the preacher's children. Many of them are overworked. Many of them, they can't rest on Sundays. Some still have to go to work on Mondays, and they'll be in church some 4:30 a.m. setting sound all through to 6 p.m. in the evening, doing all of this, and they still have to go to work like you on Monday. So please help. The next point, sharp, financial burden. Many people know, you've heard it being said, pastor's money is everybody's money, right? The financial burden of the church, when the church income cannot cater for it, often falls back on the pastor's family. Many pastors' children have had to give up luxury, give up good schools, give up new clothes, give up shoes, just so the church financial burden can be taken care of. And when it's just maybe church rent, buying instruments and all of that, understandable, right? But when it's church members bringing their own financial problems to the pastor, that's where the issue is. Many of you don't see any problem in carrying your house rent, your children's school fee, everything. You pile it, go and meet pastor. And because of the compassion in the heart of most pastors, they feel the need to take care of your financial needs as against their own children's needs. Please, you have family members, don't you? Call your uncle. Not be every time when you need something, you go call your pastor. You want to buy this one in your house, you call pastor. You call pastor. Try they trust God sometimes to even, provide for you through other means. Or call your family members. Many of you burden your pastors a little too much with your financial problems. They have their own. And the worst part is when the ingratitude comes in. When it's pastor's money, many of you don't appreciate it. When your uncle or your auntie gives you money, you will thank them for eternity coming. But when it's your pastor, for some people, there's no gratitude, there's no appreciation for what they do. Some of you even size them up and be like, see the house they are living in. I asked them for money, they gave me 10k. What will 10k do in my life? The day your pastor gave you that 10,000, there's a possibility that all they had at home was 15,000 naira and he gave you 10 out of it. He also has 4 children just like you. So please tone it down. When you have financial issues, you don't always have to put it on church head, right? You can, when your church is a big church that you know maybe they can cater for that, they have a welfare department. But when it's a small church that is just coming up and it looks like the pastor is the only one that even has some sort of financial comfort, he can't cater for everybody's need. He has children too. Pastor's children end up being the one living smaller lives just to make your lives bigger. Look unto the Lord from whence cometh your help. You understand? Thank you. So the last point is privacy. I have seen many pastors' children that have never lived in their house or their rooms by themselves, but they've always had a roommate who is not a family member. Church members' children coming to stay in the house because they have accommodation issues, they one thing going on or the other, they've had to constantly share their space with other people. It's not just about sharing their space sometimes, it's also about the fact that some of you go to visit your pastors without prior notice. You just feel a pastor's house is open to everybody, yes, but courtesy still demands that you call your pastor or his wife. If you want to go visiting, don't just appear in their house. Some of you call at odd hours and they have to start running your task, even when it's not necessarily an emergency. If it's not a life or death situation, I don't see why you're calling your pastor by 3 a.m. And those of you that do these things are people that can't accommodate other people in your space. If someone ever calls or comes to visit you without calling, you're that kind of person that will lock them out and pretend like you're not at home. But you do it to your pastor. Why? So why is he not comfortable for you, but it's okay because it's your pastor? Some are teenagers just growing up, just understanding their bodies, and you're always bombarding your pastor's house with your presence. Tone it down a bit. If you need to go visiting, call. If you can't call, it's an emergency. It should not be all the time. It's their house. Now they get the house, but they barely are in the house by themselves at any point in time, because church members are always flocking in and flocking out at any time of the day, how they choose, without notice, without toning down. Your pastor's child is going through a lot. These are just the few things I've spoken about, and the whole essence of this episode is to make you see from the pastor's child's perspective. Try your best to be a better church member. Squeeze more 500 naira in your pastor's child's hand when you see them on Sunday, because it's no easy. See you again next week on another episode of the Recap Weekend. Bye.